Hi everyone, Rod Armande, immigration and personal injury attorney, here to make a quick video about knowing your rights if ICE comes knocking on your door. What are you going to do if they come to your home? So there's three basic rights that you have that everybody should know. All people, obviously in the United States, even including undocumented immigrants, have certain constitutional rights, and that if you are even undocumented and immigration, ICE agents knock on your door, know that you have the following three basic rights. Okay, first of all, you do not have to open the door, okay, or let the officers into your home unless they have a valid search warrant, okay, and that has to be signed by a judge. So an ICE deportation warrant is not a search warrant. They cannot use that to enter the home. You do not need to let them in unless you verbally agree to let them in, okay. So also, if they do say, okay, we do have a valid search warrant and it is signed by a judge, then tell them to slide it under the door so you can see it. And you need to make sure that the name matches your name correctly, and the address where they're searching, it needs to be correct, or else you don't need to let them in. And you need to make sure that it's signed by a judge. If it's not signed by a judge, you do not need to let them in. And even if you do agree to verbally speak to them, you can do that through the door. You don't need to let them inside the house, or you can actually open the door and step outside and close the door behind you and speak to them from there. So that's the basic rights for that. You also have a right to remain silent, okay? So you don't need to answer questions. If they ask you questions like, where are you from? Where were you born? How did you enter the United States? You do not need to answer those questions. You can refuse, actually, and remain silent. You can say, I choose to remain silent. Those are the key words. I choose to remain silent. You can carry what's known as a know your rights card. It can be in English or Spanish. And you can show that to them. You do not need to even show them identity documents, but make sure if you do show them any documents, they're not false documents, and make sure if you do speak to them, just do not lie, okay, because that's going to get you in trouble, okay. With that said, the third major right is basically you have a right to speak to an attorney. Everybody has an opportunity to speak to an attorney. If you don't have an attorney, you can still ask to speak to one. If you can't afford one, you can ask for pro bono, a list of pro bono lawyers. And so you should also ask for what's called a detainee handbook to know the rules for the detainee center where you're detained, to know what the rules are. You should refuse to sign any documents, and you can, until you have been given the opportunity to speak to an attorney. Honestly, you should never sign anything unless you fully understand what you're signing. I mean, there are rumors, and in fact, things happen where accusations where ICE will have people sign stuff and they don't know what they're signing. So don't expect the officer to tell you what they're signing. You need to be able to read it and understand it. If you can't, then don't sign it until you've been given an opportunity to speak to an attorney. So you can even contact your consulate, and if you don't have money in your account, after 10 days, you can ask for a free phone call to family members or friends as well. So keep those three main rights in mind. Hopefully this doesn't happen, but obviously there's been a lot of increase in ICE rates, and there will continue to be a lot more is what's expected. So know your rights, exercise your rights, and if you do need to speak to an attorney, make sure you reach out to an attorney. If you need to reach out to me, my contact information is always on my website, Rod Armande Law. And stay safe and take care, guys.